Federal government, Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress agreed to suspend planned strike action. Nigeria's foreign trade falls to 12 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2023. Oil rises 1% and Saudi plan to deepen output cut from July. Asian markets largely lower as Wall Street's rally takes a breather. The program is Business Express reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. And I am Leakatin Babatunde. You're welcome. We start the program by informing you that the total value of foreign trade has declined by 2.55 trillion as Nigeria recorded lower exports within a year. The new foreign trade statistics report by the National Bureau of Statistics shows that the total value of trade decreased from 14.6 trillion in the first quarter of 2022 to 12.05 trillion in the first quarter of 2023. According to the report, Nigeria recorded 5.56 trillion import and 6.49 trillion export, showing a trade surplus of 930 billion in the first quarter of 2023. And the World Bank says Nigeria and 5 other countries are prime candidates for the implementation of carbon taxes. In a state and trends of carbon pricing report, the World Bank highlighted Nigeria and 5 other African countries as suitable for the adoption of carbon taxes. Currently, South Africa is the sole country on the continent that has implemented carbon tax policies. However, there is a growing interest in carbon taxes and emissions trading systems throughout Africa. The Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress have agreed to suspend the planned nationwide strike after constituting a committee to review 7-point framework. This is coming after a long session between the representatives of the federal government and the union leaders.
The federal government, the TUC and the NLC to establish a joint committee to review the proposal for any wage increase or award and establish a framework and timeline for implementation. The federal government, the TUC and the NLC to review World Bank Finance Cash Transfer Scheme and propose inclusion of low-income earners in the program.
At our joint date, we'll go into more specifics to make sure this knotty issue is resolved. Thank you very much.
All we want to encourage government is to take this seriously, because this government is just coming in. This may be the first agreement that is being signed by this government that was inaugurated on May 29 by the President Tinubu's administration. So I want us to commit to get these issues resolved as soon as possible.
On June 19, 2023 to agree on the implementation framework. Now, residents of Onitsha in Anambra State have reacted variously to the removal of fuel subsidy by the federal government. While some are wholly in support of the move, others say government should find ways of cushioning the effects on citizens. Franklin Onyekachi reports.
Onitsha, as a commercial nerve center of the southeast zone, witnesses heavy vehicular traffic on daily basis, but the reverse seems to be the case with the removal of fuel subsidy by the federal government. The development has given rise to fewer vehicles on the road, while transporters as well as marketers lament the attendant consequences.
The smallest market or trader somewhere is waiting to collect money to find a way to buy fuel for his generator, buy fuel for his transportation, and do other things. And when this hike increases, it affects the entire economy.
After the passenger, they always complain that the price is too much.
Others, however, say the move is a welcome development, considering what they termed the massive fraud that characterized fuel subsidy.
Anybody that loves this country must support the federal government for the removal. People are being used just to create problem because people are making billions, over 400 billion being spent a month. 400 billion a month is more than enough to give us good security, to develop our higher institutions, to develop the hospitals and our roads.
Let's see if this country will improve in development and other things and infrastructures. So I support the subsidy removal.
They called on the federal government to make wider consultations with manufacturers, civil servants, as well as businessmen in order to reach a consensus on the issue.
We are pleading to everybody. Let them go back and negotiate what will be the palliative for working class. If working class are comfortable, those of us who are in private business will also be comfortable.
Find a way to cushion the effect before implementation. You have to lay the foundation of the existence of this subsidy removal before you remove.
Our respondents pleaded with the organized labor to shelve the planned industrial action. Petrol sells between 550 naira to 600 naira in Onitsha.
Now to speak on the issues around fuel subsidy removal, what the government should do to produce best outcome for Nigerians and of course boost local production capacity is former presidential advisor to former President Muhammadu Buhari and Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Itayan, and you're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you very much and thanks for inviting me.
Great. Perhaps we start by the mixed reactions as seen in this report that has just ended since President Bola Tinubu's speech on fuel subsidy removal. What is your general stand on this?
The president had to do what he needed to do the day he needed to do it. And he needed to start early because that is hitting the ground running. It was a good decision he took that day. Yet there have been reactions, and those reactions perhaps have not been very welcoming. But I think that in the days that has followed and the days that are coming, when the Nigerians and the business community is appreciating, even the labor. Let me use the opportunity first to congratulate labor and to thank labor for being understanding that this is just a new government and they couldn't put that kind of pressure on the government just within 7 days of it coming into effect. And then let me also commend the Mr. President for his personal touch on these matters, personally leading the negotiation, and then commend the Secretary to Government, Senator Akuna, and the Chief of Staff designate, the Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Bajabiamila, for leading a successful negotiation with Labour, and also Labour for showing understanding. I think we are in for a better start.
Okay, now some schools of thought are the opinion that before the removal, perhaps the president should have met with labor unions. Well, his team gladly was able to do that, as we found out last night, and the unions have agreed also on further meetings. But some will say this phase should have come earlier. Do you agree with that?
I think the entire process and the entire is a question of style, and what the president and his team has done is the correct thing to do, and we have gotten the desired result.
Now, getting the desired results, of course, it is said that the removal will save Nigeria as much as 13 trillion naira in revenue. But then how about building local refining capacity, which in the first place is a problem that got us into this quagmire?
Well, I think it is not, building local refining capacity is not an option. In fact, it is the only thing that can be done. I've always said, and Nigerians have always said, who says that petrol can only be good in your car if it is imported from other countries? Actually, in those other countries, there are all the petrol that are being imported into this country are refined from small-scale petroleum refineries, some very small. And then when they are refined, they are taken to small, big receptacles, and then loaded in the vessels and then brought to Nigeria. They are produced by small scale, dotted all over the country. So what Nigeria needs to do is to encourage large, small scale refineries in the Niger Delta and everywhere. Nigeria has a small scale refinery at Ahmadu Bello University with CCU unit. Now is able to refine petroleum products. Now Nigeria has the National Agency for Engineering and Engineering Infrastructures, NASENI. Nigeria has the Federal University of Petroleum Resources. Nigeria has the Warri Refinery. I mean the Petroleum Training Institute, Warri. Nigeria has federal all the petroleum department in almost every university in Nigeria. All these persons are producing and are able to produce refinery. I've always said on many programs that all the illegal refineries, what they call them, which you call artisanal refineries, are fabricated by Nigerians using the Petroleum Institute, Warri. They are the people who are fabricating for them. And of course, Nigerian refiners in the creeks have stopped using the coal fire. They are now using generators and gas to refine these petroleum products. If you go to the Niger Delta today, diesel that you are buying 800 naira in Abuja and other areas, because they are seen to be imported, it is being sold at less than some less than 200 naira per liter, some 220, 230 per liter. In the Niger Delta area, they sell a drum of 300 liter at about 75 to 82,000 naira, which is because it is being produced in the creeks. Nigeria should stop this deceiving itself. All these things are being defined in Nigeria. Now, I had an engagement yesterday with the local refiners when I had to brief one of the institutions in this country in the course of trying to address the question of the strike. I had a meeting with them yesterday, and they addressed the institution that, look, they were not concentrating on the refining of petrol because of the subsidy, because it was easier, it was better to refine diesel, which the price was high, and they were able to sell 300, 400 while they were selling 800, 700, and 600 because the price was good. But now that the regulation has come, they are going to concentrate in refining petrol also, because they can sell at a price that it will be competitive. All they need is that they should be given a enabling environment. They should be sold the crude at a international competitive price. When you remove the cost of trucking and vessel, the cost of importing the vessels and all that prepared to buy at that rate, and then you remove you lessen the activities of the Delta Safe, that is the Army, the Navy, and the others. So if we do this, we are going to have a situation where petrol can be sold at 200, 250, and even less than that. And they even said to that audience yesterday was 5th of June, that it is possible to sell petrol, the one they are producing, they produce at 150 naira per liter. I am patriotic. Let me, I'm not praising myself, but I'm saying that I have been on this matter for years and lengths and times, and for these people to come out and say, as they said 4 years ago, that they are granting federal government amnesty. Now, we are still spending money on the Army, Navy, on the security. We are still spending money on the group that we call, the local security team that has been contracted by NNPC and all that. Now, I want to say that the greatest that we can have is improving local production. Now, I want to say, to improve local production, one thing you must do, you must conduct complete wholesale surgery on NNPC, particularly the midstream, downstream sector. Because so long as these people are still on salary, still receiving, and are the people organizing the importation of this product, they will sabotage all this effort. I will not say that they are part of the people. Well, let me not say, but let it be that I have not said, that they are part of the people who have been organizing people to resist the importation, the removal of subsidy, because they are eating and bleeding this country from there. So the president and his team will have to summon extra courage to surgery, to do complete surgery on this area and shut them down, so that there will be local refining in Nigeria. Who says you need $18 billion to have a Dangote refinery? You need even $75,000, $800,000. While I was working on this project 3 years ago, the independent petroleum marketers, IPMAN, and all the team they brought, say, look, they have in other countries refineries, small scale, that cost between $75,000 and $100,000. I'm not talking of $1 million. $100,000 can buy small scale refinery that takes just a single bedroom, to install. And those things are being fabricated in the Niger Delta. They are being fabricated in the petroleum resources, University of Petroleum Resources. They are being done by the Petroleum Research Refinery Research Department in Ahmadu Bello University. They are being done in most institutions in Nigeria. If you go to the Akwa Ibom State University in Mparemien, Akwa Ibom State University of Technology in Mparemien, they were part of those that I took as resource persons, and they came with their own product, with their own result of their test and everything. So this capacity is available. It is for His Excellency President Tinubu to apply the strategy he did in Lagos and bring the Lagos magic to perform on Nigeria in this area.
Okay, before I let you go, Senator, do you see them, this administration, picking this advice you've just given? How fast can that be?
I see them taking it because they are mobilizing resources, and of course we often use this word that President Tinubu is good at talent hunting. Not just talent, but he hunts for resources. And of course, as he was able to sustain Lagos when he was stiffened and stifled by the Obasanjo administration when we were in the House of Representatives, and he survived it. And of course, he used some such potentials as Femi Gbajabiamila, who had just joined the House of Representatives then, as to work with the National Assembly to survive that such as it were, and that stifling as it were. Okay. Thank God he's within now, and those resources will be available, and he has extra dose of courage to accept this and to run with it. Okay, I must sincerely thank you, Senator Itayanan, for making our time to join the show this morning. Thank you very much. You have a nice day. Gold rebounds after U.S. services slowed down bulls Federal Post bets. Let's take a trip to the commodities market. The
Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation (NDIC) says it is reviewing its differential premium assessment system (DPAS) framework, taking into consideration the input of critical stakeholders. A statement by the Director of Communications and Public Affairs Department, Bashir Al-Hassan Nuhu, says the DPAS is being reviewed to make it more risk-sensitive and to account for significant innovations in the Nigerian banking sector since its adoption in 2008. The review was informed by the need to ensure that the framework conforms to the recommendations of the International Association of Deposit Insurance (IADI) and other global best practices. And of course, we're moving on to the currency market now to see how much the naira is exchanging for the currencies. The Nigerian exchange closed negative at the end of Monday's trading session. The all-share index traded 0.02% lower to close at 55,806.71 index points, as against 55,820.5 index points recorded in the previous trading session. The market capitalization of equities depreciated by 7 billion naira to close at 30.387 trillion naira, a marginal 0.02% loss compared to the 30.394 trillion recorded in the previous trading session. Now next is global market with Boss Abel.
Christine Lagarde said Monday there were signs of moderation in core inflation in the Eurozone, but emphasized that it was too early to call a peak. The latest data showed inflation easing more than expected for May to 6.1%, but that figure remains well above the 2% target. However, European stocks opened mixed Tuesday, echoing downbeat sentiment in other global markets. Asian markets are trading mixed this Tuesday morning, defying moves on Wall Street after the S&P 500 eased earlier gains that brought the benchmark index to trade at its highest level on an intraday basis in 9 months. In Japan, the Nikkei 225 continued to rise above the 32,000 mark, gaining 0.9% and ended at 32,506.78. The Nikkei reached its all-time high just above 38,900 in December 1989. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index was hovering close to the flat line as property stocks powered ahead, but mainland Chinese markets were all lower, with the Shanghai Composite down 0.43% and the Shenzhen Composite dropping 0.98%. U.S. stock futures are marginally higher Tuesday morning as investors came off a losing session that took a small bite out of last week's advance. Futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 10 points or about 0.03%. S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 also advanced 0.04% and 0.01%. Most African stocks opened negative this Tuesday morning, with Namibia and South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 posting red, while other stocks are yet to open for the day's activity. Bosse Able, Business Express.
And this is where we end this edition of Business Express. Remember, we value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming in. Also be informed that all previous episodes of Business Express are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. Business Express returns Wednesday at 3 p.m. My name is Leah Kating Babatunde saying, God bless Nigeria, and do have a wonderful day out there. Remember, there's no more strike, so let's keep faith. Thank you.